It's a new project that Arc System Works is working on.
That's it? That's the last episode? That was just a bunch of cheap walk cycles! What a rip!
Hello, YouTube. It's Little Derek.comics back with another video, and today I'm going to be doing a rant. I don't know if y'all watched it, but last night SYS had a live stream and they were showing off some, I want to say new information, but a lot of it wasn't really new. There were some new games, some new titles that I hadn't seen before, but the live stream was basically a bust, and I'm going to talk about some of the reasons as to why I personally didn't like the live stream. And before I start, I just want to say that, if you enjoyed the live stream, there's nothing wrong with that. If you got to see something cool that, you enjoyed, then by all means, I'm happy for you. But I just want to talk about why I personally didn't like it and why a lot of people were kind of upset about this live. So let's get into it. And I think the first thing I want to talk about that's kind of slight, but it's part of it, is the blue balling from the jump, right? So we're waiting all day. It was like 7:50 p.m. my time when the thing started, I think. But I was pretty much waiting all day to watch this. And it started at 7:50. And there was a 10-minute intermission from the start of it. So I think it counted down from 10 to start the stream. And once the stream started, it gave us 10 minutes. It went from a 10-second countdown to a 10-minute wait. It might have been 15 actually. And I'm like, if that were the case, you could have given us you could have made it start at 8. And then you could have given us, say, a 5-minute countdown. And during the countdown, they did show off some of their games and stuff like Guilty Gear, but it was stuff we had already kind of seen. So that was just the first start of the foolishness, in my opinion. And the next thing is, again, another kind of nitpick, but it added on to a lot of the bad things that happened. And that was the fact that the whole stream, if I'm not mistaken, was in Japanese. And I don't want to be like, oh, you should have spoken in English or something like that. I don't think it's a problem that a direct is spoken in Japanese. I'm not expecting them to cater to a Western audience in terms of voicing and stuff like that when it's a Japanese developer. That's not the issue. But it's the fact that they had subtitles in Japanese. If you especially when a huge portion of that audience is going to speak English, for there to be no English and no way for me to understand what's going on, that just added to it. Because not only was there not too much exciting, but the exciting stuff that might have been mentioned, I didn't even know what was going on. So there was that. And I do want to point out that they did have, I want to say YouTube does have a automatic English dubbing. I tried to look into it because I saw that Maximilian had a video and he was his video had the English dubbing for it, but I thought it was a different video, but apparently they were both the same video. They only have one video up on ArcSys, and so I didn't know that. And so this is partially on me, I guess. I could have turned on the English dub. I didn't know about that, but that's part of the stuff that I just didn't know. And I'm a casual. I'm not even that casual of a viewer. I'm into this fighting game stuff. So the fact that they didn't have that was just crazy. But that's another kind of nitpick. That's not the biggest issue. They could have gotten away with that, in all honesty. Now let's get into some of the things they actually showed. So the first game they showed was something nobody cared about. I hate. I don't want to be all pessimistic and stuff. I know people actually probably saw that and they were excited about it, but you gotta imagine most of the people on this showcase that are watching are fighting game fans, all right? And I get it, a direct, you don't want to start off with your heaviest stuff. So what did they get that was a little bit better, right? In the middle of the stream, they showed off so much Double Dragon. They showed off Double Dragon during those, 15 minutes we were waiting. they showed off Double Dragon. They had like I want to say the biggest section might have been Double Dragon. Double Dragon is old as dirt. All right, I get that this is a remake or like a remaster or whatever they're doing for it, and it was kind of cool. I ain't gonna lie to you, but it's like that's a beat 'em up. It's not really a fighting game, and I get it. I'm glad you're doing it, but and then on top of that, I don't even think that was anything new. Like I didn't know too much about it, but I'm sure they showed it off before. I'm pretty sure I seen that they were doing a Double Dragon remake. But that's not bad. It wasn't their like grand finale or anything. They showed a Guilty Gear trailer for a character. I don't even keep up with Guilty Gear like that. I play it, I have the game, I haven't played it much, but I've seen the trailer. I've seen the trailer to that Guilty Gear character, bro. You gonna give me like you gonna show me Mikasa after I done seen Mikasa already? I know it's not Mikasa, but it's Mikasa. Like we've seen Mikasa already, and that's what you show us. Nothing new, no new updates, a patch, something like this. They showed us a bunch of new stuff or stuff that wasn't new that we've already seen before, and to an audience that hasn't seen it, that would be cool. But anybody that was watching this live was probably, I'd say, 80 to 90% chance they were a fighting game fan. So I don't see why you were showing us this stuff that we've already seen. And speaking of stuff we've already seen, they show Hunter Hunter Nin Impact. And I was excited because I'm like, oh, some new Hunter Impact, Nin Impact stuff. But they showed a trailer that I want to say they already put out. And it revealed the roster and everything and mentioned that there were going to be some new modes and all that, but they didn't go in depth on what these modes are going to be. They just kind of mentioned the story mode. They just kind of glazed over a few things. Online mode. It's like, bro, that's some standard fighting game stuff. This is stuff I already know. I played the demo. The demo gave me a better look into what the game's going to be than this actual trailer. And that's kind of the biggest part of this problem. Before I get into it, though, they did also show some Under Night stuff. It wasn't really anything new to that either. I think they announced it's going to be like at EVO or something like that. But they didn't really show anything new. They just showed gameplay. And I think that's one of the biggest issues is that they showed us old stuff for stuff that's about to come out or stuff that's about to pop off. Like, if you were going to show us some Nin Impact stuff, why wouldn't you show us more of the modes? Why wouldn't you, show us some gameplay at least? Show us like some actual full-on gameplay or something that we haven't seen. If you were going to show us some Guilty Gear stuff, show us more about how the character actually functions. Show us some gameplay to the new character. I'm going to keep calling him Mikasa, but, show us something like that. If you're gonna show us Uni or Unibi, whatever people call it, Under Night, show us some more like gameplay. Because again, I'm kind of somewhat of a casual experience in this. I don't know too much about Under Night. I've played it a little bit, but show me something to get excited. There was nothing exciting about that. And heck, if you were going to show us stuff we've already seen, you could have showed us something like Dragon Ball FighterZ. You could have showed us some older game. I know they don't support Dragon Ball FighterZ anymore, but even if you were gonna just put out stuff we already know, why don't you just do a rollback reminder? Oh yeah, we got a rollback. Oh yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like something to flesh out and pad the thing a little bit, especially at the jump for those 15 minutes we were waiting. It would have been cool to see some of your older. Heck, you could have showed us DNF, you could have showed us Grand Blue, Blaze Blue, Fighters, etc. Like at the jump, if you were just gonna show us stuff we didn't already seen for those 15 minutes, that would have been exciting. Even if you didn't give us an update on it, even if you're never gonna touch the games again, those would have been cool to see. And it would have kind of been a flex, like, hey, these are all our titles. Like, that would have been a good showcase for this. And I know I'm not a developer. I'm not someone who does marketing and things like that, but I am somebody who was watching the stream, and I feel like personally that would have been interesting. Let's get on to the worst part. What I think was the biggest letdown of this stream. There was no Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. And I know there's gonna be some people in the comments that are like, "Oh, they never said they were gonna show it," or it's still new. They just showed some information. But let's think about this right quick. This is the biggest thing people are kind of excited for from ArcSys right now in general, right? And even if most of y'all aren't, you can't ignore how big this is. This is a Marvel fighting game that's not MVC, that's made by ArcSys, right? This is gonna be most likely one of the biggest fighting games this generation. For you to not show anything for that makes absolutely no sense. If that were the case, why would you show it at state of play? Which I see why you have to show it at state of play, but why wouldn't you at least just also show it at your own event? That doesn't make any sense. Why would you play your best card that is at an event that's not yours? You could have at least because you showed us stuff we've already seen before, trailers you've already dropped. Why didn't you just drop the trailer again? Just for the people that were there that might not have seen it, that wanted to see some more information. And I know if you have the characters you shown off, you could have shown off maybe a little bit of Captain America, Iron Man gameplay, maybe some Spider-Man, maybe some Miss Marvel, something. Maybe like hone into the mechanics a little bit, tell us a little bit more about the mechanics, something. There's something you could have shown rather than just ending the stream with some Unibi information. Like bro, that made absolutely no sense. And I understand again if they wanted to not show it, but all of these things in culmination made this just absolutely mid, just so disappointing. And I think that's the crux of it. But hey, don't take my word for it. Let's hear from some of those happy stream viewers. Please don't use YouTube's auto dubbing feature. Even providing no translation of any kind would allow the games to make a better first impression than this. I kinda have to disagree. Maybe the real Arc System Works showcase was the friends we made along the way. I knew I should have low expectations, but this was another level. Can't wait to see Taisuke's vision. I hope they announce Soulback. Oh my gosh. This showcase could have been an email. As a Japanese, I apologize. Oh my gosh.
Let's do this thing. Arc System Works Showcase. Please show us some Marvel. Okay, wait, hold up. You can't have a countdown to another countdown. Are you kidding me? Is there English subtitles or
Bubble series. How was the trailer?
That's all that bubble bobby bubble booby. That's all they talked about. No fighting game news. No shit. Well, it was that and some Double Dragon. God bless Double Dragon. I really do like me some Double Dragon. But anyway, what? Nothing. They gave us nothing. We already knew all of it. And besides that, what else did they give us? Nothing.
All hands on deck for Tokon, and we're not going to hear anything about it until whenever Sony feels like talking about it. That was a show. FGC on tilt. FGC.
Oh yeah, on a lighthearted note, I have nothing against ArcSys. I really love their games. I play a lot of their games all the time. I just felt that the showcase was a little bit lacking. It was a little lackluster, and I feel like certain things could have been done better, and it was a little bit disappointing. But let me know how you feel. Tell me how you felt about it in the comments. Did you enjoy everything they put out? Did you think it could have been a little bit better? Did you absolutely hate it? And be sure to subscribe. If you like gaming content or just nerd stuff in general or art, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe to the channel. But other than that, that's the end of the video, and I'll see you next time. Peace. What that mean? That it? I know that ain't it. Bro, what? Bro, there's no way. Oh, what? What? Nah, bro, they gonna show it after this, right? There got to be something else to this. Hey, bro, yo. Oh man. Oh, what? See, why did? Okay. Why didn't? No. At least Capcom's cooking though.